Today we're going over section 4.2. Remember that your book, I didn't write your book. I did pick your book, but I didn't write your book. And because I didn't write it, it doesn't do things all in one thing. It'll add little bits at a time all the way through. So that's what we do. We go through and little bits at a time we add all the way through. We're really doing that because we need to make sure you understand all the little bits in addition to putting together all the little bits. But when I give you a way to do it, like this right here, when I give you that way to do it, it covers every problem out there. So I go ahead and tell you from the beginning how we're going to do every problem so that you can see no matter how difficult the problem gets, this works. No matter how easy the problem is, this works. That way you only have one thing to remember, not a bunch of whole little bits running around your head. So we're back to this. We're doing a little bit of an extension today. Because now instead of having just variables on one side, they have it on both sides. So we've got to move some stuff around, which you've seen me do maybe once or twice, but for the most part I didn't move anything before. Now we're really going to start moving. Now I'm going to go back to trying to make sure my letter's always going to end up on the left-hand side and not on the right-hand side, since we're kind of sticking to this format of stuff. So I have two problems up here. If you think you know how to do it, then pause it for a second and go ahead and try it. If you're not sure, then don't worry about pausing it, and that'll save you some time later on. So, I'm going to draw my line just like before. I don't have any parentheses. I don't have any fractions. I don't have like terms on this side, and I don't have like terms on that side. So it's down to one letter and a number and one letter and a number, which means I can move on. So now they want me to move the letter from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. Well, this is my left-hand side and this is my right-hand side. So the letter on my right-hand side is an 8x. I want to get rid of my 8x, so I'm going to subtract 8x because it was added up here. So I'm going to subtract 8x from that side. That makes my 8x's go away over there and leaves me with a 7. Over here, I'm left with negative 6x minus 5. Remember, we can't combine these because they're not like terms. Now they want me to move the move the number from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. So this is my number on the left-hand side. I have to move it over here, so I have to do the opposite. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides. That gives me negative 6x is equal to 12. And now I divide by the number in front of the letter. So I divide both sides by negative 6, and x is equal to negative 2. And I check my answer, and hey look, I'm right. It happens. Okay, so I did this one to give you some idea of how to do it. Now I do want you to pause it and see if you can get the second one. Okay, so let's look at it. I hope you drew the line. And then I don't have any parentheses on this side, so it's going to stay 3x minus 2. But I do have some parentheses over here, so I need to distribute to get rid of them. So that's 4x minus 8. We don't have any like terms on either side. So now I need to move my letter from this side to this side. So my letter over here is 4x, so I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. That gives me a negative x minus 2 equals negative 8. Then I have to move my number from this side to that side. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides because that's already subtracted, so now I get to add it. That will make those two cancel out, and it gives me negative x is equal to negative 6. Now I divide by the number in front of the letter. Well, currently the number in front of my letter is a negative 1. So if I divide both sides by -1, I get a positive x equals a positive 6. We've finally gotten to where we can use almost all the steps at one time. It's a very exciting day for me. I know it might not be for you, but it's a very exciting day for me. 2 more. Pause it and let's see how you do this one. Okay? Draw the line. Simplify both sides. I don't have any parentheses on either side, so I don't have to worry about that. I don't have any fractions, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm supposed to combine like terms. Over here, I don't have any like terms. I'm down to 1 letter and 1 number, which is good. Over here, I got a whole bunch of letters. Can't have that. Gotta have it down to 1 letter and 1 number. That's the most I can have. I can have less, can't have more. So, since I have more than 1 letter, I've got to make it just 1 letter. X plus 3x is 4x minus 2x gives me 2x. Now, I'm supposed to move the letter from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. This is my letter on the right-hand side. Is it positive or negative? Well, it's positive, so I have to subtract 2x from both sides. When I do that, I have 4x minus 2x is 2x minus 10, because you can't forget that. What do I have left over here? Nothing. Can't leave this blank. Got to put a 0 there. Don't forget that. Lots of people want to leave it blank. Don't leave it blank. It'll mess you up later. Put a 0 there so that you know there's nothing there. Then I have to move the number from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, so I'm going to add 10 to both sides. That gives me 2x is equal to 10. Divide both sides by 2. X is equal to 5. Keep in mind when you're doing these, you want to make sure you keep like terms on top of like terms, just like I did here where I put the x underneath the x and I put the number underneath the number, so I can kind of keep up with where I'm going. Okay, 1 more. X plus 5 parentheses x plus 3 close parentheses equals negative parentheses x plus 13 close parentheses plus x. Hallelujah, we've reached it. Almost every single step in it. I like it. Makes my life simple. Okay, I drew my line. I have to simplify both sides by getting rid of the parentheses. Do that using the distributive property. So that's going to give me 9x over here plus 5x plus 15. On the other side, I have to distribute. I get a -1 there, so -1 times x is negative x minus 13 plus x. Now I get to get rid of any fractions. That's the one step I don't get to do in this one. And then I get to combine like terms. I got some like terms over here with my x's. 9x and 5x is total of 14x. No. Yes. 14. Over here, I have negative x and positive x. Well, they cancel each other out. And that leaves me with negative 13. Notice when we combine like terms, we're doing it on each individual side. Over here, we have to be left with a number and a letter. Over there, we can't have more than a number and a letter. So now, do I have a letter on this side to move? No. So I'm back over here to move my numbers. So I go minus 15, minus 15. That gives me 14x is equal to a negative 28. Divide both sides by 14. X is equal to negative 2. You asked me back in the day if you could use your calculator. Absolutely. Use your calculator. Feel free to use your calculator. The only time I don't want you to use your calculator is when I specifically say on an assignment or on a test, don't use your calculator for this problem. And that very rarely happens. In fact, now it's next to never going to happen. So feel free to use your calculator anytime you want to do any of the calculations, even though they might be small ones. If you just want to check stuff, that's fine. But you're going to find that you'll get them faster if you just do them in your head than if you try to take the time to pull out the calculator and punch it in. It's actually faster to do it in your head. So, yeah. I will see you tomorrow.